Listen up, recruit! You keep talking about motivation like it's some legendary power-up. That's gonna descend from the heavens and bless your sorry existence. Wrong. Motivation is a moody little gremlin. Some days it shows up flexing, other days it vanishes like an NPC when the quest gets hard. Out here in this chaotic, fictional battlefield, that kind of inconsistency will get you wrecked. Discipline, on the other hand, does not care about your feelings, your sleep quality, or your playlist. It shows up anyway. That is why discipline wins. Embrace the suck means you stop expecting things to feel good before you act. That expectation is the weakness. The moment you think, I'll do it when I feel ready, you've already handed control over to randomness. And randomness is not your friend, recruit. The environment is unpredictable. The conditions are trash, and the tasks are repetitive by design. You are not here for comfort, you are here to execute. Picture this. You are exhausted, your gear feels twice as heavy, and nothing about the situation is enjoyable. That is not an exception, that is the baseline. The recruit who relies on motivation will stall, hesitate, and start negotiating with reality. Maybe later, maybe after I rest, maybe when I feel better. That is how missions fail. That is how teams suffer. But the disciplined operator? They do not negotiate. They act because the standard says act. They move because standing still is not an option. They carry their load because someone has to, and quitting is not on the menu. Over time, this repetition under miserable conditions builds something far more valuable than temporary hype. It builds reliability. And here's the twist your brain hates. Once you truly embrace the suck, it stops owning you. The discomfort is still there, but it no longer dictates your behavior. You expect it, you accept it. You move through it like it is just another part of the terrain. So burn this into your skull, recruit. Motivation is optional. Discipline is mandatory. One is a visitor, the other is your permanent commanding officer. All right? Listen carefully before your brain wanders off chasing butterflies again. Discipline without accountability is just cosplay. It looks tough on the outside, but the moment pressure hits, it folds like cheap gear. Embrace the suck is not about acting hardcore when people are watching. It is about doing the right thing when nobody is there to clap for you. That is where accountability comes in. And that is where most recruits expose themselves as absolute NPCs. You think the standard only applies when a superior is staring at you? Wrong. The standard is the standard whether you are alone in the dark or standing in formation. Accountability means you hold the line even when you could get away with slacking. You clean your gear properly, not halfway. You hit your timing, not close enough. You complete the task fully, not just enough to avoid getting yelled at. Because the moment you start cutting corners, you are not just failing yourself, you are weakening the entire unit. Now picture this fictional battlefield. Chaos everywhere. Communication is messy. Nobody has time to babysit you. If every recruit acts based on mood instead of responsibility, the whole operation turns into a circus. But if each person is accountable, if each one owns their role without excuses, the system holds. That is how order survives inside chaos. And do not give me that bad day nonsense. Everyone has bad days, that is not special. Accountability means you perform anyway. Maybe not perfectly, but honestly, fully, without hiding from your own shortcomings. If you mess up, you do not deflect, you do not blame, you do not go full drama mode. You own it, fix it, and move on. Embrace the suck means you accept that discomfort is not an excuse to lower your standards. It is the test of your standards. Anyone can act disciplined when it is easy. Accountability proves whether that discipline is real or just noise. So lock it in. No excuses, no shortcuts, no invisible mode. You are always on the hook. That is how trust is built. And trust is what keeps the mission from collapsing into pure clown behavior. Listen up. You keep thinking mental toughness is something you download after watching a hype video. Negative. Mental toughness is forged the hard way, through repetition under pressure, boredom, and straight-up misery. Embrace the suck is not a slogan. It is a training method. Every time you operate while tired, annoyed, or uncomfortable, you are rewiring your brain to stop panicking when things feel bad. Here is the reality your soft instincts hate. Your brain is dramatic. The moment things get difficult, it starts screaming like the world is ending. That is not danger. That is just discomfort wearing a scary costume. Weak recruits listen to that noise and shut down. Strong ones recognize it and keep moving. That recognition only comes from exposure. You have to experience the suck enough times that it stops feeling like a crisis and starts feeling normal. Picture this fictional battlefield. Noise, confusion, pressure stacking up. If your first real taste of discomfort happens there, you are done. You will freeze, hesitate, or make sloppy decisions because your mind is overloaded. But if you have already trained in miserable conditions, your brain does not overreact. It says, "Oh, this again? Fine." That calm response is mental toughness. And do not confuse toughness with emotionless robot behavior. You will still feel tired, frustrated, maybe even overwhelmed. The difference is you do not let those feelings drive the vehicle. You stay in control. You complete the task anyway. Embrace the suck is basically controlled suffering with a purpose. Every hard repetition is a vote for future composure. Every time you push through without quitting, you are building proof that you can handle more than your brain claims. So stop chasing comfort like an NPC side quest. Seek friction, train under it, normalize it. Because when the pressure spikes, you will not rise to the occasion. You will fall to your level of training. Listen carefully before you drift off again. Discipline beats motivation for one simple reason: consistency. And consistency wins, even when it is ugly, boring, and completely unglamorous. You keep fantasizing about those high-energy moments where everything clicks and you feel unstoppable. That is cute. That is also rare. Real progress, real effectiveness comes from repeating the correct actions over and over, especially when you do not feel like it. Embrace the suck means you stop negotiating with discomfort like it is some equal partner. It is not. It is background noise. The task does not care how you feel, and neither does the mission. When you rely on motivation, your performance becomes inconsistent. One day you are locked in, the next day you are slacking, making excuses, moving like a glitching NPC. That unpredictability makes you a liability. Now picture a unit operating in a chaotic fictional campaign. Conditions are rough, morale is low, and nothing feels inspiring. The unit that survives and succeeds is not the one with the most hype. It is the one that can execute basic actions correctly, repeatedly, without fail. Check equipment, maintain formation, follow timing, communicate clearly, again and again. No drama, no shortcuts. Discipline is what allows that repetition. It creates a baseline you do not drop below, no matter how you feel. Some days you will exceed it. Most days you will just meet it. But you never fall apart. That reliability builds trust. And trust is what turns a group of individuals into something functional instead of chaotic noise. Here is the part you need to tattoo on your brain. Boring consistency beats occasional brilliance. Anyone can have a great day. Very few can perform adequately every single day. Embrace the suck trains you to show up, execute, and repeat, even when everything inside you wants to quit or procrastinate. So stop chasing perfect conditions. They do not exist. Build discipline so strong that even bad conditions cannot break your output. That is how you become dependable instead of disposable. Now pay attention, because this is where your weak little mindset gets flipped upside down. Embrace the suck is not just about enduring hardship. It is about redefining it so it stops messing with your head. Most people treat discomfort like a personal attack. Why is this happening to me? Wrong question. That mindset drains your energy before the real work even begins. When you embrace the suck, you accept hardship as part of the contract. Not an exception, not bad luck, just part of the deal. And the moment you make that shift, something powerful happens. You stop wasting energy resisting reality. No more internal whining, no more dramatic inner monologue, no more acting like the universe owes you comfort. Picture two recruits in the same miserable fictional situation. Same exhaustion, same conditions, same pressure. One is mentally spiraling, thinking about how unfair everything feels. The other just nods internally and says, "Yeah, this is the suck. Keep moving." Guess who stays effective longer? Guess who conserves energy for actual tasks instead of emotional nonsense? Acceptance is not weakness. Let me repeat that so it penetrates your skull. Acceptance is not surrender. It is strategic efficiency. You are not giving up. You are removing friction from your own mind so you can perform better. And here is the hidden advantage. When you expect things to be hard, you are harder to shake. Nothing surprises you. Nothing feels like a betrayal. Conditions get worse? Fine. You already planned for that mentally. That stability makes you reliable under pressure, which is exactly what a chaotic environment demands. Embrace the suck turns suffering into background noise instead of center stage. It shrinks the emotional impact so your focus stays on execution. That is how you outlast people who are technically just as capable but mentally fragile. So stop acting shocked when things are difficult. Start expecting it. Accept it, use it. Because the moment you stop fighting the suck, you start controlling how it affects you. Here it is, the final truth your comfort-addicted brain has been avoiding. Duty does not care about your emotions. Not a little, not at all. In this chaotic fictional battlefield, nobody is asking if you feel inspired, aligned, or in your zone. The mission exists, the standard exists, your role exists, that is it. Embrace the suck is the mindset that locks you into that reality and cuts out all the emotional negotiation. You keep thinking you need to feel ready before you act. That is civilian software, recruit. Out here, action comes first. Feelings catch up later or they get left behind. A soldier moves because the mission requires movement, period. Not because it feels meaningful in the moment, not because the vibes are immaculate, not because today is your main character arc. This is where discipline, accountability, and mental toughness all merge into one system. Discipline makes you act without hesitation. Accountability ensures you do it properly, even when no one is watching. Mental toughness keeps you stable when everything feels like chaos. And embrace the suck is the glue that holds all three together when conditions are at their worst. Now imagine a unit where everyone waits to feel motivated. That unit collapses instantly. Delays, hesitation, excuses, finger-pointing. Pure clown behavior, but a unit built on duty. They move even when exhausted. They execute even when morale is low. They hold the line not because it feels good, but because it is required. That reliability is what wins in the long run. Here is the final hit. Motivation is temporary. Duty is permanent. If you build your identity around feelings, you will always be unstable. If you build it around standards, you become predictable, dependable, and effective. So burn this into your brain. Recruit. You are not here to feel good. You are here to do the job. Embrace the suck and move.